everyone, and welcome to the On the Go Post Show with your Go Morning team. I'm Danielle Wiggins with Maureen Kyle, Dave Chudowski, and Jasmine Monroe. And remember, we love to hear from you. So we're live on Facebook and YouTube. So you can go ahead and put your comments on the stories that we are covering. So put your perspective in the comments section. We start right now because we have some news from the New York Times. They are saying and reporting that the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, that they are putting a pause on it. The Food and Drug Administration and the Centers for Disease and Control, they will stop the vaccine, administering the vaccine at federal sites, and they are urging states to do so as well as they investigate the safety issues. Again, that's because of the blood clots that we are seeing. We already saw it in the AstraZeneca vaccine as well. We just had that on the go as well. So again, this is coming from reporting from the New York Times. The Today Show actually also has it on right now. But again, this is all from the New York Times, where they are reporting that the U.S. is calling for a pause on that Johnson & Johnson vaccine after clotting cases. And we know that really starting on April 27th at the Wolstein Center, they were supposed to be giving out the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. Right now, we're in the second phases of the Pfizer vaccine. So people who got the first shot, their Pfizer shot at the Wolstein Center at our mass vaccination site in Cleveland, they are now in the rounds of getting their second shot. And then on April 27th, the Wolstein Center was supposed to start administering the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So we will have to keep in touch and keep on track with this one, because that's very interesting. And I don't particularly know anyone who has received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, but Mo, you said you have.
Yeah. I had a friend who, that's what we were just talking about it, because I'm half vaxxed. I'm waiting for my second shot. She's like, well, I'm done. I got the J&J. I'm good. I'm good to go. And more details about this, the concerns. It's not just the blood clots. I mean, one woman has died after getting the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. They're looking to see if it's connected. So these are things that they're investigating. And then one other woman ended up in critical condition. So it seems to be that women so far are having the reaction to the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which is why they are calling to pause it and just take a closer look. So this is sort of the first step in saying, hey, we need to take a quick break and really investigate deep into, why these women had this certain reaction, whether there is a connective tissue, so to speak, about, why they had the reaction, if there's any other underlying medical conditions. So they're going to have to investigate that. But this is huge to say, if the federal level tells Ohio, you have got to suspend this, yes, that disrupts a lot of people at the Wolstein Center and a lot of vaccinations. Now, my friend who got it, she said it was more at a clinic situation, sort of a pharmacy situation. I know where I got mine, I even asked, I said, can I get the Johnson & Johnson? Just busy schedule, busy life. Right. I kind of wanted a one and done. I don't know if I have time to go, I'm making it a priority, but just, I asked, can I get just the one shot instead? And I went to, their main facilities, and it's the Centers for Families. They have some clinic situations. That's where they were giving the Johnson & Johnson vaccine. So this has been given out across Northeast Ohio at this point. And again, we haven't heard of any, reactions around here. But this is something that nobody's taking lightly. I mean, these were concerns about a fast-tracked vaccination plan. These vaccines are new. They've gone through testing, but when they get out into the population, that's when we start to see what kind of issues might pop up. So we will be following this. I mean, this is, again, the New York Times reporting, the Today Show. So NBC mentioning it. Our corporate is working on getting those details and working out our own report on that. But it's definitely something that I think will be talked about throughout the day.
Well, Maureen, you're not alone either, because I think a lot of people would think one shot, especially when you've heard a lot of people having the side effects from a second shot. So it's, hey, busy life, but also hearing the side effects you're having from the second shot of the Moderna. But one, I just actually read an article this morning about questioning the Johnson & Johnson. So interesting that this just comes out here this morning. But another thing, and I don't know if any of you have any comments on this, but I did talk to someone who their son got the Johnson & Johnson vaccine at one of the universities. And I know that the university was making the Johnson & Johnson shot available
Kent
to
State.
students.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. And, you know, from that New York Times article, it's basically, as Maureen said, it was what's causing is there's 6 women who had developed those blood clots, and one has died because of that. That's in the New York Times article. So again, we will be following this because, as you said, the Johnson & Johnson vaccine is here in Ohio. They are asking for a pause at the federal level, and they're urging states to do that. I know if you're looking in and you're saying, hey, you're talking about the vaccine, and the headline, if you're watching live, says that we're going to be talking about the unrest in Minnesota. We are going to get to that, but this actually just broke as we were coming on here for On the Go. So we definitely want to make sure that you have the latest information. And Donald, I see you watching from Akron. Good morning, OG. Good morning to you, watching from Cleveland, the Glenville area. Janine, good morning from Florida. Amber, and she says that she received that Pfizer shot, so she's half vaccinated. She got her first shot from Pfizer. Annie, watching from Cleveland. Cindy, Colorado. Amber, Atlanta. So good morning to all of you. And again, as Maureen said, our national team, they are working on confirming these details from the New York Times article. And of course, you want to stay with WKYC.com as well as our social media pages for the latest. But now we turn to the unrest in Minnesota because my goodness, this is going on at the same time as the Derek Chauvin trial. And Jasmine, you've been covering that all morning. What's the latest we're hearing out of Minnesota?
Well, right now, actually, I think they're an hour behind us. So 6 a.m. was when the curfew was supposed to be lifted in Minnesota. So here's the thing. We want to talk, or Minneapolis, we want to talk about exactly how far it was away from the George Floyd incident. It was 10 miles away from where that happened. So just, put that in your mind. They're calling it an accident. They're saying that this officer thought that she grabbed her taser. Instead, she actually grabbed her handgun and she fired a single shot, killing Dante Wright. Now, Dante Wright was pulled over for a traffic violation. Then they later found out that he had a warrant out for his arrest and he tried to flee from the scene. And that's when that altercation happened with those 3 officers. In the video, it's pretty... I don't like seeing these videos. It's something that we see oftentimes in the news. So if you want to see it, you can just head over to WKYC.com, but it's definitely something that you can see her pulling out her gun, pointing it to Dante Wright. And then, he just stops moving. So it's definitely something that is, oftentimes, but I want to tell you who Kim is. Her name is Kim Potter. She has been on the force for 26 years. She is on paid administrative leave. Now that's standard policy for police involved shootings. The police department is calling the shooting an accident, and they're saying that the officer meant to draw her taser, again, not her handgun. So the mayor is calling for her to be fired. She's on administrative leave right now. We got a chance to speak to Sandra here. He's a local civil rights attorney. And he just, it's just, you get tired of seeing the same thing happen. We know that it has to be investigated, but no one should lose their life over a traffic violation, no matter if it's an accident or on purpose. It's just, it gets daunting, exhausting to keep saying the same headline and just changing the name. We literally just change the name out and you can just write the story up. So, we don't know the full story just yet. We know that they posted this. I do appreciate the police department posting the video. They said that they wanted to be transparent. They only showed a minute of the clip. So I want people to understand, fully wait until the entire story comes out and then you make your opinion. But it's definitely something, from what we know now, it's a traffic violation that turned deadly.
Yeah, so he was, they pulled him over, saw that he had a warrant, and then he went back into the car, and that is what caused the altercation. And you hear her on the video saying, taser, taser. and then she shoots him, and then she go, oh my gosh, I shot him. So that's why, as you said, Jasmine, the police chief saying that it was an accident. They believe that she meant to taser him and not shoot him. And Mo, as we know, this is going on right in the same time, and this happened actually in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, which is near where the George Floyd trial is going. Well, the murder of George Floyd, at the hands of a police officer, Derek Chauvin.
Yeah. And we've seen unrest in that area for a year now. I mean, this has been going on for a long time not constant, but that police department, that city has definitely had to have curfews in place ever since the death of George Floyd. And then of course they're just on heightened alert because of the trial. We're in week 3 of the trial. This is 10 miles away, as Jasmine mentioned, from where George Floyd had died. It's right near where the trial is taking place. We talked to Jay Gray, who's covering it live for NBC, and he's been showing, the barricades that are up and the increased police presence. And I think the big concern overall too is that this is happening so close to a point where the judge said that we might get closing arguments on Monday. Today is Tuesday, so this is a week from now, but we're still hearing very emotional testimony on people, especially in that area, who are so plugged in, and this is happening in their community. To have something like this happen again, where they have the question of police versus unarmed Black man, accident versus bad policing, that is going to be a lightning rod for people who are displaying their emotions through protesting, hopefully not violent protesting, but things happen. And, so that's the concern there. The other thing that it sparked overnight, which I don't even know if we really got to in the morning show this morning, were the protests that happened last night in some of the other cities that also had issues, like Louisville, where Breonna Taylor was shot and killed. New York City saw protests last night. So this is something where we're just going to have to watch the temperature of the nation as we go through the next week, because this really could ignite more unrest and more protests. And I think that is the big concern. I just realized it's 7:20.
Yes.
You guys tell me, stop talking. Just tell me.
Well, you're getting into it, Mo. There are a number of people watching, and so this is going to produce a lot of conversations. We do have to get off so that Mo and Dave can be ready for the Today Show. So again, if you have perspective on these stories that we are covering, number one, the pause on the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, according to the New York Times, as well as the unrest in Minnesota, please continue to engage in the conversation with us through the comment section. So Mo and Dave and Holly will see you during the Today Show. The rest of us will see you tomorrow morning, starting at 4:30 a.m. on Go. Have a great day, everybody.